But what I'll do is just go through some charts here. It's a really interesting day. So I expected what they have been doing is Sunday nights they've been jamming the markets up, allow those guys to get out. And when they jammed the oil, they jammed the NASDAQ up. I kind of expected that the NASDAQ would hold, and I wasn't surprised that oil started to roll down. And so we're short oil with UCO puts and USO puts, and I went short on the futures and made a quick 650 on the day trading money machine, then hopped off. I was done for that for the day because my big focus is on the oil side. I mean the NASDAQ side, and oil rolled back up toward the end of the day. I think there's some really, I don't know if there's some political things going on or if they were just trying to tag that pivot that they've been trying to get to, and they did at 50, 20, or 35. I think it hit. So I think it might be a good opportunity to take oil short again. I'm just going to wait for the signal. But NASDAQ kind of fell out of bed, and unusual for NASDAQ is that usually they grind that thing back up to flat. He kind of got stuck down there in the weeds. So tomorrow, because Apple reports, I think there's an opportunity for maybe them pushing it up a little bit. Just going to watch it, and then I think on the 2nd of August, the falling will continue. We have a broken double top breakout. So the double top hit, it broke through the double top, and now we've closed now below that double top. Friday they grinded it up at the last minute to finish over for the week, but now we're down below it, and I think there's just there's just not enough suckers left. So, and we're getting all kinds of weird political things happening. Economy is not doing great, and I think people looking at the debt thing coming up in the fall, August, September are not friendly months, and balance sheet reduction and so on and so forth. So, and I've just been waving the flag. Look, if you've made a lot of money here in the last couple of years, what are you going to miss out on? Market's going to go up 1 or 2% more, but it sure as heck can fall 10% or more, and that means you have to make 20% to make it up. So I'm just telling you that it's probably prudent, and he who sells first sells best. So just letting you know that. So looking at Apple, we have Apple puts 145, 140s for August. We're almost at break even. I was checking because I guess volatility is starting to pick up. But we need about 147 and be able to grab some profit on this and run. So I'm convinced Apple usually sells off after the earnings reports anyway. So I think this is going to be a profitable trade for us, regardless if I get out tomorrow or I get out in the next week or so. Google's struggling. These Apple, Google and Facebook and Twitter, there's all of a sudden now a lot of interest coming from the consumer branding companies about, where their dollars are going. Are they just paying money so these bots can collect income? And so now I've heard it now, and I've seen it now twice. I mean, some of the biggest names in brand advertising. And then you got autos, and you got real estate, and you got consumer brand. Those are the three big boys that advertise, and I think they're going to take a hard look at it, and they're using that as an excuse because Amazon's basically getting rid of branded goods marketing. They're really, everything's coming down to price now, and so if you can't compete on price, people don't care about your brand. They know that you manufacture a white label now. I mean, that used to be not widely known. Now everybody knows everybody does it. And, manufacturing techniques now are so good that, you can produce it pretty much anywhere in the world, and it's going to be just as good as being produced, with what I would call a first-rate manufacturing country like U.S., Japan, Korea, or like Germany or France. So, and not to leave the English out, you're first-rate too. But I think you get my point. So China can produce just as good if they want. Vietnam can if they want. India can if they want. So it's getting to a point now where it's really all going to come down to price. And you don't spend advertising money trying to promote your brand when all price matters. So you're going to start seeing, I think, a lot of that stuff shift right into the store, promotional stuff, and I think Google and Facebook are going to have baseball bats coming upside their head here soon. This is macro call. Facebook already has really tough earnings comps for next quarter because they played that game with ad blockers. They're not going to be able to play that game again this year, and so just keep in mind. And if we roll into a recession, then advertising budgets get cut because that's money that's easily found by the CFO. So I suspect we've probably seen a secular high in Google until we come out of some sort of recession. My view. Microsoft too has not moved up since its earnings report. Same thing, different reasons though. It's just people just aren't going to buy the software, and they're getting into cloud and they're competing with Amazon. Amazon, okay, this is great news if you're short the market because it holds so much weight and from a market cap standpoint that look, this is a company that is the world's largest flea market. Okay, not only do they sell, they don't sell any of their own stuff, and so they're basically a big warehouse that people use them for logistics and for market research and sales, support through their brand and but that's not very profitable business. Not for somebody with a $500 billion market cap. But their cloud business is what they were hanging their hat on, and now Google and Microsoft are making that increasingly unprofitable for them. And so, are you going to pay a 214 PE multiple for basically a big Sam's Club or a Costco kind of store, and with even lower margins? And so I think Amazon's the one to watch here from the U.S. standpoint. If they can't hold the consumer, their cloud business is going to save them. And to be just perfectly frank with you, I see no reason why Amazon can't be cut in half without jeopardizing at all its price earnings ratio. I used to do M&A work. If I went to my boss and said I want to buy Amazon at this price, and I showed them the projections, I would be fired for even bringing it up. But people are stupid and they're buying Amazon at this price. You can never hope to recover. Even if Amazon converted half of their 100% of their sales into profit and doubled their business, they still couldn't even match the market cap multiples that you would expect for a company to be at. So they're just so out of whack. It's not even funny. And so, but as Amazon goes, it'll force pressure on the Nasdaq. And this is why the Nasdaq was down today. But it's interesting is all the big names are down today, but they held Nasdaq to just fractional losses. That's not going to last either. That's all going to catch up. Facebook was down today. Hey, you know what? If it gets back down to 165, it's where they report it. And Facebook reported excellent earnings. They're doing everything right, except now they're just multiple is too high for. They're not worth what the stock market's given them credit for. And I mean, these guys can get cut in half and still be a company that you couldn't buy if you had to justify it using your own checkbook. You couldn't do it. SPY down fractionally. That's why I don't even waste my time with it anymore. NVIDIA's starting to push down here, and I think when this goes, it's not going to be pretty for the chip stocks. I'm going to wait till probably Wednesday before I put back on my my index shorts again. I want to have 2 good weeks going my direction. Netflix, again, the bigger they grow, the more money they lose. I mean, what a model. Where else in the world except for the American stock market is that considered honorable? Tesla, I threw Tesla up here today because I just want to watch it daily, the implosion of a company that should have a multiple of Ford and GM because they produce the same kind of car, and with a technology that's no longer being subsidized. I mean, there's a if you want to throw a lottery ticket out there, this is your lottery ticket. That I mean, Tesla literally can go broke. It has no book value. I mean, it's manufacturing. Nobody's going to want it because you can't make any money for any car that they sell. Think about that. None of their technology is so unique that anybody has to have it picking up at a garbage dump. You know, Toyota, Mercedes, BMW, Ford, GM, they all have technology for batteries, and they got some incredible new technologies coming. So, you know, nobody's going to pay $60,000 for a car like this, and without having about 1 million other competitors taking your margins to nothing. Okay, the Qs. We got to get Qs back under 141 here, and then I have September. I get the 137s. I'm going to hold out hope that this thing's going to just fall and fall hard. GLD held up today. I was getting a little worried at first. Looked like it was a Monday morning they were going to do the slamagram, but they didn't. And you know, I think they're picking up on the stress. IWM, which is weird. This was down today. I can't believe the banks were up. I'll get to them in a second. Like right here, why? None of their business sectors are growing. And if the Fed starts reducing the balance sheet and doesn't raise interest rates, they lose twice there. And so at some point, you know, this is going to be the short of shorts here, but you know, it's a protected species, so until they can't hold it up anymore. But looking at my you know, my money flow indicator here, looks like I got a pop here. This looks like it might be rolling over again too. So we'll have to keep an eye on it. But if it goes, IWM is dead. You got Twitter. Look at Twitter. It's down 20%. Did I read that right? Yeah, down 20%. You know, this is the sick puppy of the business. But and you know, I put this thing up, or I told you guys before, I want to see if people are saying this thing is going to go from 20 to 100. That's why I want to throw it up there. I just want to see if they were seeing something I wasn't, and apparently I was correct. They weren't. And you know, Twitter's probably worth 10% of what it's trading for. It's a great platform. I use it, just not a whole lot of money in it. XLE, I have 64 the puts. I think oil rolls over, and so that's what I'm waiting for. Looks like we're getting the nexus right here, and once it goes, it's going to go. The American producers have hedged at 50, so you know, they're just gonna try to glide into the end of the year, and I think oil's going to fall, and they won't care because they're hedged. They might even keep producing even more. Okay, this tech stock, Amazon stock, talk gold. I closed MOS today, made profit. I'm a little skittish because every time I waited one day too long, I always end up giving it back or losing money. We stayed with our wheat and precious metals, and I just sold some more calls against it. I'm fully hedged now on it, and just wanted to see where it's going to go here, but it looks like it's just setting up here. If it gets anywhere down to 20, I think it'll push back higher again. It's just that I just have this feeling a flush is coming, and kind of everything was going to go with it. Here's GDX, SLV held up nicely. Here's real estate, CCJ. We closed our CCJ for profit too for the same reason. I'm glad I did. It just kept falling. Wow. Did their earnings reports last week, and that's falling right back out of bed again. Remember, these are the guys that provide fracking sand. So I'm kind of keeping an eye on this one to see if it translates over to oil price and XLE. Let's see, anything else of interest here? There's some ag stuff here. Looks like biotech's kind of undulating a little bit. I'm still staying away from it because they kind of use it to hedge the market. So I kind of lost interest in it for right now. Okay, the trade I should have took, but I didn't. It popped up on me, went a different direction, and we already got out of GDXJ. I'll wait for this to roll back and then jump back in it again. Okay, VXX kind of flattish today. This is going to be a great put. UVXY went right back down to where it was. I was going to, it was at 30.06. I was going to buy puts on it. I think in the future, I think I'm just going to call it out for you guys, whether I take it or not. I just didn't know what they were going to do with it. The market was looking a little sketchy there for a while, and I just didn't want to. I want to jump at it. But when it got up to 30, I had a sell signal on it. I'll call it out next time, because maybe you guys can make a couple $100 on it. Those are for the subscribers. Okay, dollar keeps falling. As UCO, I have the 15s on UCO for August. Again, for the same reason, I think oil is back down in the low 40s, and at least get a 10% move here. That should put me into the profit for UCO. DBA, we're in DBA. It's been kind of flat. Some things are down, some things are up, but it's pretty much at my buy price. XME was kind of giving us a little bit of warning that maybe some of the stuff wasn't gonna hold, but it's just kind of weird. So this was it was up a little bit today, and copper was too. So UNG, a lot of people are talking about UNG bottoming here, so I'm just going to keep an eye on it, but it's definitely oversold. Here's the SQs, FAZ. Here's oil. Got dust here. TWM looks like it's like ready to break out. Back over VWAP. I think next time money flow sets up, I'll take the shot long. They can't hold the yen down anymore, so it's pushing higher, which gives the markets some instability and gives the oil some strength. JJG, we're in JJG. Like I said, long term, I'm in full position, so I'm just kind of hanging and just waiting and see. See here, anything else here? Copper got pushed up again. I think it's a dollar thing. And we're in coffee for a long swing too. That's up again today. They're really having a big problem in Brazil. I'm telling you, global cooling a year off, but now it's starting to make its presence felt. And you'll see that reverb up into the grain belts too as we get into the fall and winter. You see, it's 20 degrees below normal in the middle and the eastern United States. 20 degrees below normal. And I always laugh when they said, this is unexpected. I'm like, well, if you understand what's happening, you know, from a solar perspective, yeah, it's unusual, but it shouldn't be unexpected. They should be telling people you should expect to see these kind of things. What's unexpected is when Brazil goes 40 degrees below normal. Now that's unexpected because people haven't seen it. Remember the last big solar minimum was the 1600s going into the 1800s. There weren't that many people there, okay, and so they didn't have the right equipment. So the southern hemisphere is they're gonna break new ground. So they're seeing snow in Australia that they never thought they would ever see, and the people that come out of watching Al Gore's movie are thinking that Australia is going to go into a sauna. Well, Australia is cold, cold, cold. South Africa, cold, cold, cold. New Zealand, cold, cold, cold. And then Brazil, unexpected, a cold blob just moved into the tropics. 8% of the coffee crop wiped out. So these are the kind of things that you're going to see more and more and more. Just FYI, it won't be unexpected for people who listen to people like me. So here's corn, and we had wheat. I'll come up to that in a second. we got stopped out of it. I moved the stop up. There was a hit piece in Bloomberg. I just didn't want to deal with them trying to bring wheat down 10%. So I slipped my stop up there and they tagged it. I'll just wait for another round. Since I already have JJG and DBA for long term, these are more short swing opportunities. Drip, I'm not in it, but some of our subscribers are. I'm thinking they can get to 22 at least. And sugar's doing great. I got knocked out of it, didn't jump back in. Like I said, here's wheat, pretty much where we sold it. Soybeans are holding up above. If you want to buy anything pure, soybeans are going to do the best out of wheat, corn, and soybeans. If somebody's interested in just trading it. Okay, so if we think what's going to happen when natural gas is going to happen, this is the put you want to buy. Don't go long boil. Go buy cold puts. The only problem is that they have really wide bid asks, but it's worth it if you can work it, and it's not a lot of volume. But if natural gas pops, you're gonna be well rewarded with cold. And probably entering SSG here soon again. The 10-year was flat. And I think we're just about done. Here's the VIX, it pushed up. Okay, VVIX back to Apple. So anyway, it's gonna be an interesting week for sure. So hang on. So maybe oil's popping because they think we're gonna go after North Korea. They put a military guy in as chief of staff. This guy's no nonsense. As a former Marine, I'm delighted to see a Marine kind of running the show in there, clean that place up, and you know, General Kelly is a good man and very diplomatic, but very strong. And I just wish him well, and I wish the country well. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Thanks. Bye-bye.